And when he got up on Sunday morning to tell us for the first time, he had been here, I think we'd been here 10 years now, right? And he was weeping while he's saying, I would never leave this church to go to another church and be a pastor. That is not what would drive me. He goes, but when I got called from Campus Crusade for Christ to be able to build into future preachers who would go out to the world and preach the gospel, he goes, that draws me. And so he said it would take a year to do that, and he would do a transition, and the elders would help with all of that to make it smooth. It wouldn't be abrupt. And that's what led us into, what I would call the dark times of the church. The pastor in the middle.
You don't want to overinflate it, but it was a very hard time, and people were leaving, and we never knew who was not going to be at church. I used to call it the days of hemorrhage because everybody was leaving all the time.
It started to dwindle and dwindle and dwindle, and it was painful, right? Watching people that you love leave, right?
It was hard to stay at times, but you still saw the faithful few that were serving God and really trying to look to the future and see what he could do through Fox Valley. And we looked at it as our church family.
Churches are like families. And so you have to stick together and love each other through thick and thin.
And it got to the point where we prayerfully, really prayerfully, one of those Old Testament passages to say when David was asked to take vengeance on Saul, and David said, far be it from me that I would raise my hand against the Lord's anointed. And that's the way we felt back then. We're not going to do this to this man, and we're going to be seeking God in every step we do. And then it led to us writing a letter and asking questions, that we wanted answers for, and we didn't get an answer back. He wouldn't answer the letter very defiantly, like, I don't need to answer that to you. I'm the pastor here. And so then it got to the point where we were starting to build up this small group, now probably 78 people, and we were about to ask him to leave. And he could see what was coming, and then before we could ask that question, he resigned.
There was a group that God just kept us together because his heart was for this community, and the core that he had in Fox Valley, like he wanted that to continue. So we stayed the course and just stayed the course and went through quite a long process of looking for a pastor. It was not easy. And so I always would go ride my bike and pray, and it just was really hard because what are we going to do? And I came back, and another member of the search team walked right up to the door and said, Karen, this is the guy. This is the guy that God wants to lead Fox Valley. And it was back then little cassette tapes with sermon examples on them. And it was Pastor Tom. It was Tom Atchison. And so he goes, listen to these. I think this is the one.
I saw God rebuild, God not give up. God kept it together through us, right? But he didn't just let it go.
And to see all that God has done over all the years is just such a testimony to stay the course, stay the course, stay the course. Even when it's hard, do the hard thing.